What's going on, guys? My name is Arik and this is Dark Souls 2. And in this video I'm going to show an easy way to kill the Ancient Dragon. He is found at the very end of Dragon Shrine. The walk over here can be quite difficult because the enemies are tough and they have a lot of health. So for this fight I'd recommend you don't even need any armor at all. I probably could just run in there naked to get some slightly faster movement, because if he hits you, you're dead. So the strategy is to hug his back legs, and he should do his stomp most of the time, as you can see here. You just have to bait him to use his stomp. You can do that by standing close to his legs. If you see his wings spread out, or if you see him do this, like preparing to fly up, just look back and look for his tail before he flies up, and then follow the tail, because he won't be able to hit you with the fire if you're running towards his tail. And the fire is the most dangerous attack anyway, so that's pretty much a strategy you want to use. You want to bait him to use his stomp attack and then roll away. And as soon as you have this attack under control, the fight becomes rather easy, because the stomp attack isn't very hard to avoid. The only real time when the stomp attack becomes dangerous is when you're either in an attacking animation or low on stamina, which is why I recommend only swinging once or twice, or maybe even 3 times with your weapon, depending on what weapon class you're using. You see, I'm using a katana, and I swing 3 times right there. You might be able to get a 4th in with if you're using a katana, but I would just go for 2 or 3 hits and then let your stamina build up again, because if he decides to use his Aerial Firebreath attack when you're low on stamina, you're probably going to die, because you won't be able to reach his tail in time. The same goes for the stomp. If you're out of stamina when he's about to stomp, you might get hit. So that's pretty much the strategy. Another thing I should mention is that the weapon durability, your weapon will most likely be either at risk or destroyed. So I recommend bringing another weapon with you into this fight. Towards the end of the video, my weapon gets, or the Katana gets at risk, and fortunately he does the Ancient Dragon does an attack that I just dodged, and went in my inventory and used a repair powder. But you don't have to do that. You could just bring another weapon with you. So if you haven't noticed already, this is a Dex Faith character. I'm using the Lightning Uchikatana with Sunlight Blade to increase the lightning damage even more. This also works with if you're a spellcaster. All you need to do is just bait his attacks and then cast spells at him. So as for his moveset, he will either start off the fight by using the Firebreath attack or the Aerial Firebreath attack. So let's just start with the Firebreath attack. This attack is triggered when you're standing in front of him, and he will stay on the ground breathing fire in front of him. The attack can be avoided by running to the side towards his legs and getting underneath his head. This attack can be very useful to get in some hits. The only real downside about this attack is that if he decides to use his Aerial Firebreath right after the normal Firebreath, it's a long run towards his tail. So every time I see him using the fire breath, I just run all the way back to his back legs and wait for my stamina to fill up, and wait for him to use his next attack. So the next move he can use is the Stomp attack, which is the attack you see him using the most in the video. This is the attack you want to bait him to do. It is triggered by standing too close to his legs, and is avoided by rolling to the side. I'm not 100% sure. There is something about. I read somewhere that if you do enough damage, he will only do this attack, but I don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure about that. But if you know anything about that, just let me know in the description, in the comment section, and I will give you credit for it and include it in the description. So his next attack is the Aerial Firebreath, which is his absolute most devastating attack. Whenever you see him, whenever you see he's about to fly up, you need to run back to his tail. Otherwise you will be dead. 99% of the time you will most likely die, and the last percent is when you're either using the Goer's Ring of Protection, which nullifies the backstab damage or something, or when you're at the very end of the radius of the AoE attack. But just look for, if you're underneath him like I am in the video, just look for him to when he's about to fly up, and as soon as you see him do that, just turn around and look for his tail before he flies up, and then run towards him, or towards the tail. Be careful, do not run underneath the tail, because if he lands and you're underneath the tail, you're dead. So that also applies when you're too close to his tail when he lands. So I recommend just staying either a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right of his tail, and you should be fine. So the next two attacks I personally haven't seen him use once, so I had to look up the attacks on the wiki. I will include the wiki in the description. But the next attack is the Bite attack, and it is triggered by standing in front of him. You can see him whenever you see he's about to. Whenever you see he's about to raise his head up slightly to the side, he's about to use the Bite attack. Now, since I've never seen him use this, I can only assume, but I would think that rolling back or to the side will avoid this attack. The best thing is probably to roll back, depending on how long the range of the attack is. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comment section. So it says here that the last attack he can use is a self-immolation attack, but according to the description of the move, it sounds very similar to another attack he does in the video, where he stands up in his back legs and breathes fire below him. It says in the wiki description that you can just run towards his side or behind him and get in some hits on his back legs, but if the attacks are the same, I wouldn't even dare trying to attack his back legs, because it looks like the fire will be able to hit you. I would just use that time to either heal up or do anything you need to do. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I know I went a little bit over the length of the video, but I just had to finish the commentary. That's pretty much been it. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.